to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Salamanca City Central School District acknowledges the homeland of the Anandawaka, the people of the Great Hill, the Seneca people, on whose ancestral and modern-day land Salamanca School District now stands and whose water we enjoy. We stand with all Indigenous peoples in their resolve to remain connected to their land. While we cannot undo what has been done, it is the goal of the Salamanca City Central School District to recognize the history and make improvements that will benefit the next 7 generations of Indigenous students.
Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, there are a couple changes here. We added the budget presentation, which we're going to see shortly. We also added the archery tournament trip so that our students could go. We added the budget figure, which you're also going to see shortly. Replaced and updated the tax report card, and we added the transportation report for March of 2020.
Okay. So with that, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Tracy, second by Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Just to note, Mr. Colton and Mr. Weiler are excused absent tonight. All right, let's move on to our recognitions and presentations. Kick it off, Karen.
All
right.
right. Yeah, Marcy. All right, so. We finally have a final figure, and of course, I forgot to write it down. $60,314,330, I believe is where we are. So state aid, if you look at this, the blue is 23-24, the orange is 24-25, and the green is 25-26. So as you can see, our state aid has increased over the last couple of years. Impact aid, we have a large increase this year because of the loss of the ARP monies. So those have gone away. So general fund has picked up those expenses. Indigenous tuition and transportation is down as they play with the formula. It's based on the number of students we have and how much we spend, et cetera. Fund balance and reserves is really, really close to where it has been. Miscellaneous is down. Primarily, I'm being conservative because of interest. I can see the Feds dropping the rate a couple times between now and June, so I don't want to overestimate the amount of interest earnings that we'll have for 25-26, so I dropped that. And then taxes, as you can tell, is we're flat. Oh, why does it look weird? Anyway, tax levy will remain at $250,000. Why does it look weird?
I don't know why it looks weird on my own.
Okay, so this is the property tax report card. It's actually in 2 pieces. This is the upper half. If I put it all on one page, it'd be super hard to read. So I have to submit this to SED tomorrow morning after it's approved tonight.
I'm sorry, I'm not even touching my screen in my jump.
Sure. So as you can see, our budget went from 57.9 up to 60.3. The tax levy remains at 250,000, and then it just goes down with the formula. You can see enrollment went up by 2 students, and the CPI is 2.95%. At the bottom is the adjusted restricted fund balance going from 15.3 at the end of June 25 is my estimate. And then my estimate for 26, I think it'll be 14.7. Assigned appropriated fund balance at 3.6 into 3.5. Unrestricted fund balance from 20,000,007 to 19.2. And then our percentage that's supposed to be 4% is at 35.81 currently. And I'm projected to drop that to 31.86 at the end of 25-26. Then the second half of it shows our reserves. So capital at the end of March 31st, we had $10.8 million in there. And that actually should say 6/30/25 in there instead of 24. That's my mistake. I'll have to fix that. Janet, if you could remind me, please.
Yep.
You see it as a zero, anticipating a positive vote for the capital project in phase 5, which means that that'll wipe out the capital reserve. However, the capital reserve that's been approved is for $25 million. We've only put 10 million in. That $878,000 is interest that's been earned on that 10 million since it's been in there. So that will be used towards phase 5 if we get the positive vote. Then we still have an additional $15 million that we can put into the capital reserve before we have to go out to vote for a new capital reserve. We can't replenish it up to the full 25 because once you put it in and take it out, that's portion is gone. So that's why we can only replenish, or I should say, fund it up to $15 million after this part. Repair reserve, 780, anticipate 788 at the end of the year. The difference being interest. Same thing with workers' comp from 267 to 269. Unemployment from 218 to 214. Reason is we'll pull out the amount of the actual costs for the year. EBLAR from 1.1 to 1.95 or 1.82 to 1.195, again, because of interest. Same thing with retirement contribution from 520 to 525. And other reserve, which is actually TRS, will go from 1.213 to 1.227. And again, that's all interest earnings that are anticipated for those increases. So that's the property tax report card that you'll be asked to approve later on. And I'll have to file with SCD tomorrow morning. So the rest of our commitment funds, we don't have to include on the property tax report card because it's part of our unappropriated fund balance. So I just wanted to show you how they've grown over the years. So if I'm going to start at the bottom with OPEB. You can see that it was a little over $1 million and now we're at 1.4, probably 1.41. Tech goes up and down based on how much we spend throughout the year and then refund at the end of the year. Equipment is maxed out at $1 million. Capital outlay has increased quite greatly. You can see the first time we had it was in 2021 was the first time that we had that, and it's funded at greater than $1.2 million now. Turf replacement, you can see starts with the orange, which is in 22, is when we approved that. And that right now is at $1 million. The reason we did that is when the turf needs replacing in, I think there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on there, 12 years, I think. We'll have the money to do it. The turf at Best Park anyway. We'll have the money to replace it instead of saying, oh, great, we need to replace the turf. How are we going to do it? We'll be prepared for that. The retirement, as you can see, goes up and down, and it really depends on how many people we have retire and what kind of unused time they have, as well as how many years they've been here for the retirement award. And then E-Bus, you can see there's only 2 bars on there for 24 and 25 because that is a new commitment fund that's set aside, and it's, so I think it's like $525,000 right now. So what do we know? We know that the final ARP money is gone. So general fund is reabsorbing those positions. Our property and liability increases going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 19%. We're still not sure yet. We're still waiting on that. Salary increases, we know some of those. SASA is really the only one that's unknown at this time. Benefits, we know that some went up, some went down. It's the same. It's pretty much the same slide as it was last time, so nothing new has been discovered, so to speak. Retirement. I thought this was interesting when I was going through this. In 2021, we had 13 people retire. Same thing in 22. 23, we had 15. Last year, we had 14. This year, we have 3. Last time I was here, I reported 1, which was correct for one that we just found out about. I forgot we had 2 retire like the first week in July. So there's actually 3 that are retiring considered in 24, 25. And none of those are teachers. Unknown. State aid, their budget was due on April 1st. They still don't have one. They keep extending. I have no idea when it's going to be. We could very well, I mean, you have to approve the budget tonight. We could have the budget vote and still not have a New York State budget. So they've given us some guidance on what we're supposed to include in and not include in. And last time I talked to you about a $4 million error, finally got to the bottom of the error. It's not our fault. It was something in the formula with state ed. Instead of tracking each child as one FTE, so to speak, they tracked them as almost 7. So our 35 kids went to 251. So they had overestimated our income by that much, that many students. And it wasn't just Salamanca, there was several other districts that were involved in that, but at least we got to the bottom of it, and now they're gonna fix whatever they did. SASE contract, as I indicated, is also still unsettled. Instructional. So this is the last largest piece, I should say, not last, the largest piece of what we do here, and that's because we're a school, so we teach kids. So we're looking at $33.2 million for 25-26 compared to 31.6 in 24-25. So a little bit over a 5% increase. And as you can see, some are up and some are down. Curriculum went up a little bit more than expected because part of it came out of in-service and went to curriculum. So it's not like we really added a whole lot more. We just subtracted a little bit less from in-service technically. The big one is special ed. And I sent information to the special ed department this morning to have them take a look at BOCES and our costs within there, because it went up 50, Jerry? Jerry's on, it went up 51%. And I'm not exactly sure. So I've got special ed department looking at to make sure that we have everything that we need and we're not paying for extra students that are maybe not ours. Technology was a big decrease, and primarily because we were able to purchase quite a few computers through the ARP monies. So we didn't need to do that. Attendance, we used to have 2 officers in the budget, and this year is only 1. Social work is the one I'm working on trying to figure that one out. I didn't have enough time to get to figuring that one out, so I'm not sure. We're not eliminating anybody. I think what we did is reduced one of the contracts that used to be in there. It's not anymore. And co-curricular is down a little bit, and athletics is up, and recreation is down. Recreation is phase 3 of the playground. Phase 3 of the playground at Prospect. So overall, a little over 5% increase in instructional. So to look at it another way, this is the same instructional. So you can see salaries went up 5%, equipment is down 8%, contractual is down 7%, BOCES up 15%, materials is minus 1%. So overall, a 5% change in instructional costs. Employee benefits. So ERS and TRS are the retirements, Social Security, your workers' comp, unemployment, insurance is the big one, and retirement payments. The retirement payments are unused sick and vacation time for employees who have retired, because those are paid out over 3 years. Even though we only had 3 people retire, it doesn't mean that that $609,000 is going to those 3 people. It goes back 3 years. So as you can see, everything went up. Insurance went up by 2% for the cost of insurance, but the reason that went up 4% is there's a couple new positions within the budget, and there were some people that maybe were on a buyout that are now on the policy now, compared to when I pulled this together last year. BOCES poster costs. I always find this one interesting, that the cost of our program versus the aid that we get back in. So something doesn't look right. It's not. Don't look at that, it's upside down. Yeah, that's not right. Don't look at that. Sorry about that, I apologize, I didn't realize that earlier. So the BOCES coaster costs, this is what I was talking about earlier, where Special ed went up 51%, so they're at $4 million last year, or currently we're at 2.6 million. That's why I've got Jerry and his team looking at what's going on. So we're looking at spending $9.2 million with BOCES this year versus 7.8 right now. Business admin costs also went up. That's because of that new software that we use for the budget piece. Personnel went up, and that's primarily third-party administrative costs for the health plan and for the workers' comp plan. Central data processing is all of our technology stuff, primarily with Erie One. In-service went down, teaching went down. Special schools is up, and that's primarily because of the summer school costs that we anticipate for this summer. Technology is up because we're gonna be purchasing a few more pieces through Erie One versus purchasing them through the ARC monies. So overall, it's a 19% increase for BOCES. Debt service. So if we look at 25-26, we will have to pay 1.7 million in debt service, where last year we had 2.8, and that's because we ended up paying off a piece last year. So our current debt outstanding right now is 6.5 million in principal and 1.9% or 1.9 million in interest. So a total of $8.5 million. Interfund transfers for special aid went from 100,000 last year to 85,000, and that's based on the number of students that we have in summer programs. And then food services went from 5 to 850 because what we're doing is with all the fresh food and scratch cooking, as you know, when you go to the grocery store, I know what it costs for me and my husband, and I can't imagine how people are doing it that have a bunch of kids. Food's expensive, so that got pushed up. So here we go. Here's the big number. 60,314,330 compared to 57,996,781. So it's a 4% increase of 2,317,549. The largest decrease came in debt service, as I talked about. We had paid one off. The other large decreases in equipment. The largest increase is in BOCES. And that's all. That's the short version.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for Karen?
Yep.
Go ahead.
What you got?
So you already touched on it, but let's get a little more in depth on, we're supposed to vote on this budget tonight. We have no idea what the projection is for New York State aid. So walk us through that, because you have around $32 million of this budget coming from state aid. So what's,
So they've told us to budget with the executive's budget, and anything above that or below it, we'll have to make up. I don't know what schools are gonna do that don't have the money to make it up. You know, if it comes in at 28 instead of 32 like we're expecting, we've got $4 million we can make up the difference of. Somebody else doesn't. They might not even have 400,000, let alone 4 million. So it's really our best guess estimate, and that's what they're telling us to do.
okay. So on the other side of that, what happens if we end up getting 34 million instead of 32?
Then we would use less impact aid.
Okay. So what does this do for the budget vote then? If let's just say, for instance, the state doesn't approve their budget before May 20th. What does that do? We're still voting on it as
We're still
is?
voting on it as is. Yep.
Is the public gonna be aware that if we don't get the amount of state aid that you anticipated, we're dipping into what account?
It would be additional impact aid, which is unappropriated fund balance. I have to make sure I say that right.
Okay,
So yeah, so it would drop my anticipated number, the 31%, that's supposed to be the 4% number. It would just drop that to lower.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I mean, they're arguing, from what I've heard and read, is it's not really about the numbers, it's about the policies that she wants attached to the budget. So it's like, well, who's gonna win that battle? I don't know.
How will it be resolved?
Yeah,
Anyone else? Okay. Thanks, Karen.
thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move on to communications. Do we have any? All right, how about Title VI? Aaron, you got an update for us?
Scandal. Just a couple of things today. We actually, I was gonna pretty much do the same type of presentation tomorrow at our Title VI public hearing. It'll be here at 4 p.m. in the LGI. It's kind of the same budget type breakdown. We're gonna be collaborating with the school and IPC, and then of course, it's opened up to the community. It's already been shared on everything and out there. Flyers are here. I can also provide you guys if you want. But yeah, we do this annually, the one annual kind of community public hearing report, basically the same thing. I have a 25-page PowerPoint if you guys do want to go through it right now. I figured probably not. So yeah, just a couple of quick numbers. It's like 0.5% of the 60 million, but we have about 323,784 coming for 25-26 year. 313,137 is going to direct program costs, and then 10,647 into the indirect costs for school, developed into the school. But we're just rolling. This year, we lost a little bit of money. We filed with a few less kids, so that was kind of expected. There's a really big graduating class last year of new students. So we think for that and a couple other reasons, we thought we filed with less students this year, as well as really we're going to see that over the years, because the ED 506 form that we file with is based off of a third generation. So as the years are going, families are slowly kind of weeding out of that third generation, becoming fourth, fifth, sixth generations into our school. So that's one thing the government is working on, trying to boost the program. It would be awesome if we can get fourth or fifth generations onto that federally across the nation and be able to count those students as well. But so that's part of why we have a little bit less money for Title VI this year. Again, that's the public hearing is tomorrow at 4 in the LGI. And that's really going over part 2, I guess, of this Title VI, breaking down all 25-26 school year. That I will be hopefully certifying the day after on the 24th. If I can possibly get Dr. Beeler for even 5 minutes, that's all it takes. You know, we've done them many times, going over everything and then certifying it for us. So that'll be the last steps for that, and we'll be set for the next year. And as of right now, that's really all the government can promise us. So the future for Title VI and other federal Indigenous grant programs are at risk, and that's just the truth about it, especially with MBK and certain programs like that. So we'll see as we go on, but we'll keep working hard every day. We also today, I'm a little burnt, I feel like too, because today we were outside all day at the outdoor cooking experience over at the Enoso Guende Cultural Museum. I just want to read off a couple of things today. So it's an amazing collaboration with the Seneca Nation Language Department, the immersion program, men's and women's ceremonial, Faith Keepers Language Nest, Salamanca High School, the cultural center staff, a bunch of other community members. All were down here. We had multiple different stations. Some included the cooking deer meat or venison on rocks that were heated by coals. And we had the students actually doing and helping and getting in on this and buttering the rocks and putting venison on and taking it to elders and doing things like that all day. Fried walleye in clay pots, rendered bear fat for salve. So bear fat is rendered, it's kind of as a salve. You can make medicinal uses. You can add your own and render your own things into it. You can use it for your hair. You can use it to repel mosquitoes, all different kinds of things. So we're teaching those and having presentations while we're doing those. Tasted corn soup, mush, again, cooking in the clay pots and hot coals and all those different activities was all day. So I seen Mark stop down for a little bit. I think you got a bite to eat.
I did. It was great.
Great. So I think we got everyone fed that today. And this was our second chance to do that this year with the kids. Inez Gilson and her Seneca language classes were able to come down with us today. So we hope to keep collaborating with this group in the future. And it seems like everyone is hyped to do that as well. So it's cool seeing everyone work together now. So, and then next week here in Miss MacArthur's room for our Native Crafts class, our seniors are going to be doing a whole week of ribbon skirts and ribbon shirt making. Hopefully, potentially that they can wear these for graduation and powwows coming up next month and the months coming. and things like that, in school. So we have Chanel Cook coming from the 28th to the 2nd, doing that with us down there. Check it out, swing by. We'll be pretty much doing it fourth period, but a lot of her kids of our class kind of come in periodically or come in at times that they're able to, especially with our seniors that have a little bit more time and not so into every class. They have breaks or they have those certain study hall type things that they can come in. So we'll be kind of rolling all day long down there. And then last, just on May 5th is again coming up is the MMIW or MMIP, and Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples event assembly at 1:20 to about 2:20 till dismissal on May 5th. So if you're able to stop down that as well, we'll be rocking the house with the entire high school. So, and our Indigenous Youth Council students should have a presentation that day as well, right before December. So that's all. And if you guys want to stop by tomorrow, it's a little bit more boring, but the 25, page PowerPoint is
Stop, it's never boring.
I know you guys like this stuff, so anyone out there. Thank you guys.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much. All right, we'll move on to central office message. Karen, do you have anything else you want to add?
I do, and I'm glad John made it tonight. So we are proud to announce that Salamanca City Central School District has received a Healthy Meals Incentive Recognition Award for making improvements to the nutritional quality of our district school meals. Awarded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service in collaboration with Action for Healthy Kids, Salamanca City Central School District received the Innovation in the Preparation of School Meals Award for our work in including Indigenous meals within our school menu. Taste tests were done at various times, and now we have several recipes that are rotated among our menus. So I would like to congratulate Mr. Haley, along with our NAC team that have made this all happen. It's been a couple of years, but we made it all happen and we got the award, and it could lead up to a $100,000 grant.
Awesome, good job. We thought when you were here, John, that we had snacks, but I guess. Just kidding. Congratulations.
That's all I have.
All right. Mrs. Beaver?
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone had a nice break, relaxed, well deserved. On the academic side of things, we have our New York State assessments that are approaching. These assessments just give us a snapshot of where our students are excelling and where they may need more support. They're just one tool that we use among many that help us ensure that our students are set up for success. So the Seneca and the high school will participate in computer-based testing this year. So that's grades 4 through 8 will be on computer-based testing. And our third grade students will still take the paper pencil test. Our testing dates for 4 through 8 are April 29th and 30th for ELA and May 6th and 7th for math. In third grade, ELA is April 30th and May 1st. And math is May 7th and 8th. And then we also have our 8th grade science test that's coming up this week. For 8th graders, it's April 24th, and for our 5th graders, May 13th. So that's always a big, busy time of year. Just want to remind our students to, attendance matters. They need to be here. If you need help or need anything, please reach out. That's it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions for either Karen or Nikki? All right. Then we will move on to board members. Tracy, you want to start us off?
I guess, like to welcome everybody back from the break. And I hope it's the fourth quarter, so I hope everybody's, digging in and finishing up everything that they owe and just enjoy the rest of the year. Summer's approaching. That's it.
Thank you. Dan, how about you?
No, same thing. Welcome back, everybody. The end of the academic year is vastly approaching very quickly. And just kind of buckle down and get through that. The weather's gonna get nicer, so that always leads to those things of trying to go outside as opposed to studying when it's cold. But just want to thank Karen for the budget stuff. I know very few people enjoy doing that, and how much you do. And thanks for breaking it down where we can, understand it a little better.
Thank you.
Brad?
Congrats to Coach Hinman on Big 30 Coach of the Year. And all the athletes that were recognized, there's a bunch of them, and then Coach Bartozik for being selected to coach the Big 30.
Oh, nice.
Great players and call back.
Yep. Gary?
Yeah, again, thank you all. Thank everybody, all of our staff for everything you guys do, my colleagues. Thank everybody. Everything you guys do is awesome and amazing for our kids. And welcome back. Hopefully everyone had a little bit of rest at least and enjoyed the break, and hopefully you enjoy coming back into these halls even more. So everything you do is appreciated. Fourth quarter, finish lines in sight. It's finished strong. So good job, everybody. That's all I got.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. It is getting nicer, so I'm sure people would rather be out doing other things than coming to the board meeting, but we appreciate that you take the time to come here anyway. Listen to what we have to say. I just want to say congratulations to Chad and to Joe. I mean, that's a great honor for the coaches. Get to go to the girls' banquet this Thursday. Over at the ACC. Pretty excited about that, just because we always honor our boy athletes, and I'm really excited that we get to honor the girls and get to fly a banner for them too. It's been a long time, and you know, I know there's people out there that say, you guys only focus on, you know, boys sports, but believe me, we value girls sports just as much as we do boys sports, and I just want that said publicly, because if anybody doesn't believe that, you know, please come to the meeting so that we can dispel any rumors out there, because we do value our girls and we want them to succeed and get their championships just like we do our boy athletes. So, thank you to everybody. I'm gonna repeat what I always say. If you see anything or hear anything that we can do better, let us know. You know, we always like to celebrate the great stuff, but we can't make improvements if we don't know what's going on and if there's any problems that we need to solve. Dr. Beeler knows I'm not afraid to call him up and say, everybody here. And address concerns. And as a board, we're kind of the decision-making body, so a lot of times we pass it off to Mark, but it doesn't go unheard. So please, if there's any things that you see that we can do to make our school better, that's what we want to do. That's the message I'm going to keep sending. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Just a couple quick things. You know, the weather's starting to turn, and it's great to see our students outside learning and taking some time to play. I had a chance over Prospect to hang out with some kindergartners on the playground. I saw the swings are up over there, so that looks terrific. So it's nice to see that we're continually investing in things outside of the classroom as well as inside the classroom. I had the chance to spend some time over the weekend along the coast of Lake Erie. And I was sitting there thinking, boy, I could teach probably half a year of earth science just from this one spot. And I think it's important for us to recognize the connection that we have to the outdoors and not to undervalue the time that our students spend outdoors, not just, you know, in recreation, but also with learning opportunities. So as I walked around before the meeting to just do a little bit of a check to see what's happening outside, there were various athletes training and practicing. I saw some kids actually sitting outside reading, which was great. So it's nice to see these spaces outdoors where our students can sort of get out from inside the building and still engage in learning and recreation. And that is a lot due in part or significant part to our school board, who continues to make that investment. Over the past 5 to 10 years, our campuses have significantly improved. I mean, and that's an understatement, to a point that they're really becoming the centerpiece of the city. So I just wanted to say thank you to the board, and on behalf of the students, it really is being utilized by our staff and students as well. So thank you.
So, all right. All right, then we are gonna move on to the consent agenda. So we need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion. Motion by
Second.
Brad, second by Carrie. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I had-
Okay.
can you clarify the dates on the archery?
Oh, yeah, I've got it right here.
You're gonna leave 5:10.
And well, here it has the dates 5/7 to 5/29.
Oh, the paper says 5/7 to 5/9, so. I typed a 2 in there probably fast today. We were doing voter registration. I probably just typed it too fast, so. Are the dates,
Trip.
are the
It
dates,
is a long one.
are the dates,
I wanna go.
are the 7th through the
I need
9th?
a chaperone, let me know. would you?
Yeah.
I'll fix that before you vote on
So
it, sorry.
when is it truly?
7 through 9.
7 through 9.
Well, where do I have it? 5, oh, is it on this thing? Oh,
That table.
okay, so on the table, I have to change it. And on your, what you're really voting for, it's correct. On the resolution. Thank you for telling me. I'll fix it.
Anything else? Then we got a motion by Brad, second by Carrie. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. There's no old business. New business, we have the BOCES annual budget, 25-26. So we need a motion to, adopt or approve the BOCES annual budget. Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Tracy. Any questions? All in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item B is our BOCES board member election. Area 1, Brian Perkins. Area 3, Dr. Ralph Kerr. Area 7, Charles Davis III. And then area 8, our own Dale Fulton. So we need a motion to cast a vote for each of those.
motion.
Motion by
Second.
Carrie, second by Tad. Any questions? All in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item C is our Cattaraugus County Youth Bureau Children with Special Needs Program. So we need a motion to approve, that resolution for 25-26 school year.
Motion.
Motion by Tracy.
second.
Second by Carrie, all in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item D is our BOCES cooperative purchasing agreement. So we need a motion to approve, the resolution.
Motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Tad. Are there any questions? All in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item E is we're declaring surplus of some trumpets. So we need a motion to declare the items above 1 through 3 surplus.
Motion.
Motion by Tad.
second.
Second by Carrie, all in favor?
Oh, I got a question.
Sorry.
Who wants to explain what a euphonium is?
It's
That's
a smaller tuba.
That's it.
Really? We should just put little tuba.
Yeah.
Should have put, but that's okay. That's a great question. I was wondering what it was, but I'm like, eh.
Carrie ventured out to
But
try and
Carrie-
say.
Carrie-
He tried it, he sounded it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know what I'm voting for.
It was Yamaha, so I was hoping it wasn't any kind of.
For bike or?
Alright, we got a motion by Tad, second by Carrie, all in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Then we also have technology surplus with the attached schedule, which is tons of equipment. So we need a motion to approve all those items surplus.
Motion.
Motion by Tad. Second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item G is to accept the grant for the Ralph C. Wilson Junior Legacy Fund for Design and Access. And that was for $30,000. So we need a motion to accept that grant.
motion.
Motion by Carrie. Second by Tracy. Are there any questions? And so is that gonna put equipment right out?
Yeah, so, yeah, the walking path that's at Best Park, it'll put equipment out there that you can, walk so far and then do some exercises, walk so far. do some-
That's what I thought it was.
With, an instructional thing of how you're supposed to do it and how many reps and that kind of stuff.
Nice. How old you are versus how many reps, and I hope.
It could be.
Motion by Carrie, second by Tracy, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item H is our STA MOA, so we need a motion to approve, that MOA.
Motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Carrie. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item I is our CSU MOA, so we need a motion to approve, the CSU MOA.
Motion.
Motion by Tad. Second by
Second.
Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item J is our Young and Right architectural building survey contract, so we need a motion to approve that resolution.
Motion.
Motion by Carrie,
Second.
second by Tracy. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item K is our capital projects phase 3.5 contract with Huber Construction. So we need a motion to approve that contract for $390,000 for phase 3.5.
Motion.
Motion by Carrie,
Second.
second by Tad. Are there any questions?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item L is to accept the bid for a 2025 F-450 Super Duty. So we need a motion to approve the bid from DeLacy Ford for the amount of $66,166.16.
Motion.
Motion by Tracy,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item M is the creation and abolishment of the position. So we are going to abolish a homeschool coordinator for 11 months and create a homeschool coordinator for 10 months. So we need a motion to abolish and create the position.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Tracy. And a second by Tad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item N is our confidential staff employee working conditions contract for Sandy Brundage, Mike Friend, and Janet Cook. So we need a motion to approve those contracts.
Motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Tad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item O is to adopt a 2025-26 budget in the amount of $60,314,330. So we need a motion to approve our 25-26 budget.
Motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Carrie. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item P is our school property tax report card for 25-26. So we need a motion to approve the 25-26 report card. You're gonna make that adjustment?
The,
Right, on the
24 to
actual form?
25.
Yeah, one day.
All right, so we have a motion by
Motion.
Tad. Second by
Second.
Tracy. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item 8 is our personnel consent agenda, personnel action number 1. We also have a personnel action number 2. Item C is to approve personnel consent agenda for both items A and B.
Motion.
Motion by Kate,
Second.
second by Ted. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Do we have anyone here would like to introduce?
I do not see anyone here or online. I did want to take a moment though, just so that we're all on the same page with the extended probation. We see this every couple months. This is really just a procedural action. It has nothing to do with the individual's performance. Due to requirements for time to count toward probation or toward tenure essentially. There are certification requirements, so in this particular case, it was a certification that needed, issue that occurred, so her time has been extended just a brief amount, and it has, once again, not anything to do with her performance in the role.
Okay.
No,
Move on to-
there's not too much happening right now, yeah.
It's rare.
It is.
Usually we do. Our board information reports, so we have our Indigenous Education Meeting Minutes for April 9th. Our transportation report, our upcoming events, April 24th. Is the Allegheny Cattaraugus Association of School Boards Annual Dinner Meeting. Also, the girls are gonna be recognized at the ACC, the basketball team. I think that's important. It's not on here, but it's important. And May 13th is our Board of Education meeting to be held at 5:30. And then, of course, the May 20th budget vote. So please have everybody come out and vote. Can't tell you how to vote, but just please encourage everybody to come out and vote. With that, we need a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of personnel.
Motion.
Motion by Carrie,
Second.
second by Tad, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate, we don't anticipate any action
No.
now. So thank you and enjoy the rest of the evening. Done. Next time you come, we expect snacks.
And a speech.
And a speech.